In this video, I'll show you a little bit about how the Wing War sit-down version works. This one specifically has been modified so that it'll work with the R360. This is a volume control, and I'll turn the volume control down. I had to add the service and credit switch here and test button here because the normal functions were in the coin box, which is not attached. This doesn't have the coin box. So in order to start the game, you have to push down and give it a credit. And it's ready to go. It says push start button. So you push start.
Lower safety bar. Lower safety bar.
Now this is asking for everything to be done just like an R360. The sit-down version of Wing War, there were two of them tied together, and you just sat in the seat. You didn't have to worry about any of this. But in order to get this board set to play with an R360, that R360 would not communicate over the fiber optic link with the sit-down version because it knew there was a difference. So I had to take the EEPROMs that were in the R360, and I had to put a couple of the EEPROMs that are different, specifically made for the R360. I had to put those EEPROMs into the board set of this game. And once I did that, then the two games started to communicate with each other. But now this one wants to have all the safety features done like a real R360. So in order to get this game to play, you have to start with the rotary switch here in this position and then rotate it through all the different safety features.
Lower safety bar. Insert seatbelt.
Insert seatbelt.
Insert seatbelt. Pull the lower right lever up.
Now, you'll also notice that there's a rolling line on the screen. That line is not really here. This is a difference between the scan rate of the medium resolution monitor in this game and the standard resolution of the video camera. So that rolling line you see is not really there.
Pull the lower right lever up.
So I'll pull this up.
Push the emergency button to stop. Ready to go. Now starting.
And you have to take this all the way to the very top where it says game on throttle. Okay. Now, even though you're ready to start, you have to go one more time. I'm going to go, there's dogfight and there's expert. I select expert. Now there's 8 different planes to pick from. I'm going to pick the Harrier. And now you choose your enemy. Who do you want to fly against? There's a spaceship. I'll fly against a helicopter. That'll be my enemy. Pull the trigger. And now this tells you, depending on which of the 8 planes you pick, how your particular plane works. In the expert mode, you have throttle capability. And for the helicopter and for the Harrier and the other plane, you have to know how to use this. Where the other airplanes, like the Mustang and the Zero Fighter, they work differently. So each one of these has a different way to use the throttle, and you have to pay attention to what this says. See, that's hover. You have to go back like this to hover. And the Mustang doesn't have that. Pushing the start button changes the view to cockpit mode. Okay, so here we go. Now, in expert mode, you can fly wherever it is you want. There, look, I'm going up, okay, and that goes forward, and I can turn. Now, here comes the enemy. Okay, if he's behind you, you can hit smoke, get some smoke out of you. In expert mode, you can go wherever you want, so you've got full control, and it's a real dogfight. You've got regular machine guns, and then these are your homing missiles. When you see the targets come on, that's when you want to hit the homing missiles. You'll see a red box drawn, and when you get that, you can hit your homing missiles and get them. This is how much life you have, how much your opponent has. Oh, Look at that, he's got me down to almost nothing. I can turn the volume up here. There you go. It tells me if I won or lost. Replay.
Game over.
Alright, so now, to talk about the buttons I put in. Turn the volume down. You saw the service and credit. When you're in game attract mode, pressing this button will give you credits so you can play the game. Here's the test button, and I put this little shroud around it so that you can't push this easily. You have to get something pointy and get in there and push it. When you push the test button, it gets you into the test menu. Now both the R360 and this sit-down have the same type of test menu, so everything you see here you can do on the R360 also. Now once you're in the test menu, then you hit the service switch, or that was the credit switch. This will step you through the different menus, and these menus are all described in the manual. A couple that are important that you want to know about are volume settings. You want to go to volume settings, and if you ever have to play with the boards or replace the board set in this game, or even if you unplug it and plug it back in, you will lose the calibration of your throttle and of your stick. So it's important that when you put a new board set in, or if you do any maintenance, before you play a game, you have to come down to the volume settings, and then once you select volume settings, you press the test button again to enter into that menu, and you'll notice that this shows the position of the stick, and as I move this left and right, you'll see it change. That's the min and the max value. And then as I pull back and forth, you'll see the next one change, min and max. You want to take this and rotate it through all of its positions, and then the throttle also. You want to rotate the throttle all the way up, all the way down, make sure nothing changes. And then once you have that, then you want to switch to set and exit. You want to save these settings. If you didn't want to save them, you could go back up here to cancel. Don't remember this, but going down to set, it'll remember these settings, and you need to do this when you put a new board set in. Then press the test button and you'll get out of this menu. It'll save that and get you back to the main menu, and then communication settings. Now right now I don't have the R360 powered up, and if I come down here and look at communication settings, you can see that my network to talk between the R360 and the sit-down version, I'm in standalone, which means this game can play all by itself, which is what you just saw. If I come up here to network and switch to master, that's one choice. I've got the R360 set up as a master. Set this one up as slave, and then exit. Now I'm back to communications menu. Step down to where my exit is. Alright, now if I was in standalone mode, it would come up and just start playing. But because I've gone to the slave mode, it says you need to communicate with the master. So it's going to sit like this forever until I turn the R360 on and the two talk to each other, then the games will come up. So I'll show you that next.